I want to call up some people who do have some of the answers and can really talk to you about the importance of happiness, ways we can find it, how it impacts your health, and the health of the ones that you love. I would like to call up Lucy Gade, Tina Conroy, Bella Grossman, Marissa Licata, and Deborah McElliott, all from the Center for Wellness and Integrative Health and Katz Institute for Women's Health at Northwell, and they're going to start the conversation. We're going to start a conversation with all of you about this film and about what they do and what we all can do. So have a seat, guys.
So it might seem a little removed from the topic, but it's not. I see so many people come to my office and you don't feel well. It's very hard to feel happy. So I think even taking a look at how you take care of yourselves with the quality of the food of what you're consuming really can go a long way. Because if you don't physically feel well, it's hard to achieve these other, more profound spiritual events in life that really do make us well-rounded and happy. So if you think about it, we all love bacon cheeseburger and a milkshake from time to time. It really does kind of make you feel good in the moment, but kind of how do you feel afterwards? Not so good, right? It kind of makes you feel way down and not really unenergized. It had the opposite effect. So what we do at the Katz Institute for Women's Health, and we take care of men as well, but it really focuses in on taking care of yourself as a whole person. And nutrition is really a big part of that. Your family is a big part of that, and what you're feeding them to really just take care of your health. Because in my opinion, our health always comes first. And so I think taking care of yourself is really at the root of all of this. And I absolutely loved this documentary. It was so eye-opening. And it was so, made you think about things that we kind of just push in the back of our minds every day because we just go, 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 go. And that's what we do. We just go, 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 go. And take care of everyone around us and never ourselves also. And I think one of the smallest parts of the movie that really got to me was seeing the children in that middle school episode, because to me, our children are everything. And to see those little boys hurting and crying, it just had such an impact on me. And I think really focusing in on our children and teaching them about core values and teaching them about happiness and treating kindness to each other was, I think, to me, it just made such an impact on me. So it was a small part of the movie, but to me, really hit home. So thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Tina Conroy. I'm the Director of Energy and Healing at the Center of Wellness Integrative Medicine. And I teach meditation, guide meditation. I'm a Reiki master. Also, I am a yoga teacher. So I see people all the time that are really working towards wanting to feel better, wanting to be happy, wanting to be less stressed. As a matter of fact, stress, if you even can really cause that unhappiness. So majority of the things that I work with is a daily routine. And can we connect to ourselves on a daily routine? Some people will say meditation, some people may say pausing, prayer, scripture. But as we saw with this movie, happiness is an inside job. And if you know that, we have a choice each and every day to be happy. This is a lot of things that I talk about in my yoga classes and speak about in meditation. Life isn't easy, it's how we cope with it. And so if we can turn that around and do that and have that choice. There was a spiritual teacher, some of you may know, Louise Hay, and she used to say that she used to wake up every morning and she would say, oh, another day. And her day would be a horrible day. Then years later she realized, and she's worked so hard, she's not with us anymore, that she woke up and said, thank you. Thank you for this beautiful day. And then her day unfolded in an intentional way. So intention is also really a big part of it. I saw this movie about a year ago, and then I saw it again today, and it's always interesting to me how seeing people in the most uncomfortable situations are still really happy. Because I really do believe that we have a choice.
You know, just a personal thing. A few years ago, I picked up a book, and I don't remember the title of it right now, but it was about a woman. It's a true story about a woman who was a journalist who was really in a rut in her life. She had lost her job, and she had a teenage daughter, and she didn't really know what she was going to do next, but she didn't want to set an example for her teenage daughter that she wasn't going to do anything. So her daughter encouraged her to take on this project where every day she did something new. Like, it didn't matter what it was, but she had to do something new every day. And she made a list of 365 things, and for 1 year. And they ranged from singing in public, running a 5K, learning the alphabet backwards, going through the day where you say yes to any question that is asked to you, going through a day where you do not look in the mirror for 24 hours, eating a sardine. I mean, it was just the most random things. And she said it actually helped her get up in the morning, because she said, I have to think of something new to do today. And because, you know, your list of things to try, your bucket list, for example, can be 10 things long, 12. I mean, it could be really long, but like most of them are just out of reach. But, you know, I want to go to Egypt, and, you know, that's not necessarily something I can do tomorrow. But there's only so many 5Ks or triathlons you can do. So it was really hard for her to think of things. But I actually I didn't last a year, and I didn't do it every day, but I tried to for about 6 months, once a week. I just picked something new. And so I think that's linked into kind of what you're saying, is like finding a purpose, and that's part of, you know, I think that's what some people find with meditation. And
right, and also it's gratitude. So they said that in the movie here, compassion and kindness and gratitude. So we hear a lot about, or maybe you have in gratitude journals. So if you can write something every day, maybe 10 things a day that you're grateful for, and that gratitude actually creates the happiness. It fills our heart center. Not just the anatomical heart, we feel from our heart. And so when we can connect from that place, that's the connection with other people. And that's the consciousness that we're connecting. When you think about somebody else, when you send good wishes, when you send a prayer, when you send kindness, when you send light, we're really sending it from our heart. And so heart-centered people become happier people.
Hi everybody, my name is Bella Grossman, and I'm a clinical psychologist. I work at the Katz Institute for Women's Health, integrating care for people who are medically ill or vulnerable, and helping them with different things that might be going on, whether it's stresses, anxiety, depression. So clearly this movie is very applicable to the work that I do. And so one of the most important things from this film that really spoke to me was related to the idea of being together. It's funny, as I talk, I notice myself getting a little emotional about it. So I think it's being connected with other people. The research, there's a lot of research on connectedness, and there's a study that put out by Harvard, actually, that it's a longitudinal study, the longest study, looking at people from when they were in college all the way now till their 80s and 90s. And the thing that they found that's promoted longevity the most, actually, was their quality of people's relationships. So again, I think that you don't have to have the most number of friends or family, but again, being connected with other people is really what makes us bring on that positive emotions, those feelings of happiness. And you know, today when I was watching the film, I was noticing I have so many things going on in my life, as I'm sure everybody else does. And so I noticed I might have gotten distracted here and there. And so what I did was I tried to take a moment, as you know, I'm sure my other colleagues will talk about, in something called mindfulness, and being in the moment, bringing my mind back to where I am right now, and just being so grateful that I'm here today to talk to you, realizing that there were up to 100 people, right, today?
Yeah,
and, you know, more than 100 people all here together, and that felt really special, and that helped me bring me back to the moment too. So, and that's what actually brings me happiness today. So I want to thank you all for being here, listening, and being connected. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah McElliott. I'm the nurse practitioner, and I work with this wonderful team at our Center for Wellness and Integrative Medicine in Roslyn. I'm an adult nurse practitioner and a holistic nurse practitioner. So my background started with cardiac surgery, where everybody's stressed because they're having heart attacks, happy when they're done with surgery. And it sort of evolved into how do we look at people from the whole perspective? How do we look at the whole person, the body, mind, and spirit, and recognize the importance of feelings such as happiness, gratitude, love, appreciation, and the impact that that has on healing. So I work very closely with Dr. Lucy Gade, who will introduce herself very shortly as our medical director. But we're at exciting times because for so many years we felt like we're sick, let's go to the doctor, get a pill, and we'll be better. And now we know the huge impact that our own lifestyle plays on it. And I work with people at times where you would think they'd be very depressed and very sad. And I've even had people, choosing when they're going to hospice, saying to me, oh, I'm so happy I'm picking a hospice right near where my daughter works. And you'd look at them and you'd say, how could anybody be happy making that kind of a choice? But you realize that happiness is so much more than the smile. We see the smile happy, and like, oh, put on a smile and you'll be happy. But we realize it takes work. And that's part of the joy of the work that we do, is working with people so that we can have whole person wellness. I saw this movie a while ago. I watched it again last week, and then last night I was at a benefit given by a family for a young girl that died when she was 13 from cancer. And they highlighted 5 stories that this foundation gave money to, and each of them was there. And they came forward with tons of little kids with issues, families with issues related to cancer, and every single one of them had such a smile on their face and was so filled with happiness, and they were enduring such really difficult things. So I guess when we look at these emotions that we're trying to deal with and make ourselves happy, make ourselves healthy, work on the healing process, like my colleagues had said, it really starts with our perception. And how are we looking at our life? Are we looking at what's the next problem that I need to solve? What's the next disease I need to get rid of? Or are we looking for the joy in the journey? And how can we be joyful and express gratitude and work from what we often say, appreciative standpoint of, what's our dream? What's our vision? What's our purpose? And how do we make that happen? So flipping it just a little bit, how one little change often leads to so much healing within ourselves. So I have to thank you again for letting us be a great part of this. I was here a couple of years ago when we did the Embrace Aging, and again, beautiful, beautiful stories that really feed our soul. Thank you.
Okay, hi everybody. I don't feel like I'm loud enough. Am I loud?
Just hold it a little closer.
Okay, I feel like I'm going to eat it now. It's very close. Okay, Dr. Lucy Gade. I am the medical director at the Center for Wellness and Integrated Medicine, which falls under the Katz Institute for Women's Health through Northwell. And I'm very happy to be in my position in life. I'm actually a medical doctor. I went to medical school, and I was practicing OBGYN for many years, and then sort of took a personal interest in what I was doing, sort of trying to find my own happy, kind of asking myself, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And while I did enjoy practicing and taking care of my patients, I felt that something was missing. And in search of that something that was missing, I then did a fellowship in integrated medicine. And a lot of people don't know what integrated medicine is, but it's like Deb McGelly had explained, it's sort of takes into account a person's mind, body, and spirit when you're talking about their health, and realizing that the connection between the mind and the body is a very strong connection. So every experience we bring to the table and everything that we do can be shifted or directed based upon what our thoughts are or how we're feeling emotionally. And I thought this movie was really interesting. My biggest take-home point was when they showed the pie graph, and 50% of your happiness is genetic, and 10% is what you acquired, and then that 40% is what sort of you bring to the table. And that's what we do a lot at the Center for Wellness and Integrated Medicine. We try to help people bring to the table what they need in order to live their best life, their best self, because it's not one size fits all, and everybody is different. And when you practice integrated medicine and you go through the process of paying attention to people's mind, body, and spirit, one of the most integral questions in the work that we do, and Deb can probably concur with this, is at some point you want to ask people, what brings them joy. Because there's so much in life that's difficult. But if we can find out what it is that brings us joy and focus on that, some of the difficult things tend to swim away, and we can bring more joy. Because joy begets joy.
Does anyone happen to belong to the Rotary Club here? Yes. Okay. I went to a Rotary Club meeting a year or two ago. I knew nothing about the Rotary. I went to them because I work for a nonprofit and they are very generous with supporting nonprofits in the community. And they started the meeting by having everyone go around the table and say something they were thankful for and donate $1 or whatever amount they wanted to do into a pot. And I don't know if every Rotary does this. This was the Great Neck Rotary. And so they went around the table and some people put in $1 and said, I saw my grandkids this weekend. And someone put in $20 and said, my wife got a good diagnosis. And somebody put in $1 and said, I just got a new job. And they just went around the table, and what they ended up doing, they said they do this at every meeting, and then that pot becomes part of the money that they donate to a cause that they, and I was floored. Like, I consider myself a pretty philanthropic person, an aware person, but I thought that action of every time they come to a meeting, the first thing they do is say something that they were thankful for, which is kind of what a few of you were saying, which is kind of waking up every day and maybe starting with the positive, because then, you know, there's tons of negative that can follow, and not that everyone's day, every day is, you know, you don't want to focus on the negative all the time. I mean, there's a lot of great things that happen in everybody's lives, but we all, I guess, need to be reminded sometimes. But I just thought that was a really neat, beneficial practice that I'm passing along and giving a plug for the Rotary, because I think whoever started that practice kind of had a good idea there about what they were doing.
Question.
Yes, question.
May I be a
I will repeat the question, don't worry.
Okay. I don't know if you can, but I think I'm going to be a devil's advocate here, especially when I was looking at the Bhutan piece, which makes so much sense, right? But then I was thinking of the Marxist statement, religion is the opiate of the masses. And I was thinking on the other side of this, that it can be a way of making people content with great injustices in the world. And also I was thinking just now that it's just as they say it's a human thing to feel compassion and so forth and all these things that go off in the brain, I would think it's also a human thing to be discontented, to be motivated to make change, to make positive change for yourself as well. So I'm being a bit of a devil's advocate, and now you'll tell me, well, the happiness can come in taking the reins and doing something to correct the injustices in the world. That's what you'll probably tell me, that can be, no, seriously, because it came to me in the third step.
All right, well, so just to summarize for a second if you haven't heard. So what the comment was is that the fear of saying, you know what, you should just wake up every day and be thankful for something in your life can make you content with things that are not right in the world. Like, we can't just sit back and say, okay, I'm going to find my happiness and stand for things that we know are wrong, right? We can all look around and say there's a lot wrong that we need to fight for. So, you know, part of it is that balance, right? And I know you assume, Karen, I know you. So I know you assume that the answer is, well, maybe you can find your happiness in taking action. And I actually think that's right, right? Everyone can find their happiness in something different. For some people, it's being grateful, and some people, it's taking action.
I was just going to say one thing. You know, when you look at things from an appreciative standpoint, we deal a lot with institutions, with workplaces. I'm not saying ignore the problems, but instead of what's the problem, what's the best day? Instead of the injustice, what are they doing wrong? How should people be treated? Similar to the way he was, you know, letting those kids come up and tell their stories. So what should justice look like? How should we operate from the heart? Instead of you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, but how do we do it right? And what does a great society look like? Look at Okinawa. What does that look like? Look at the joy of the social connection that people have. But yes, it has to be a good social connection. You can have a connection with people doing some really bad things. But I appreciate your point. You know, we work from an integrated perspective. We look at a lot of different cultures. When we look at traditional Chinese medicine, you have the yin and the yang. You can't have the good without the bad. Often you don't know complete joy unless you've had some suffering. You can't heal unless you've had something that you've suffered over. So it is this perspective that we need. The one point that I didn't mention, I think we've changed our approach from years ago in medicine and nursing, where we used to tell you what to do. So I'd say, go home, smile, make a list of things you love, do this, this, and this. And now we say to people, where do you want to begin? Like Dr. Gates said, what's important to you? What's your hope? What's your greatest hope? So hence you see this whole field of health and wellness coaching emerging, which is something that, a technique that we use a lot in our center, and it's a new specialty in nursing for those of you that are interested. But thank you for that question, because yes, life isn't all joy and bubbles, and we can't just think that we want things to be happy. We have to work at it. The point I was trying to make was, how do we start from the best case scenario and make more of that happen, as opposed to this is wrong, that is wrong, because then it puts people in that problem mode.
Yes, back there?
I see 5 women in front of us, and I see this housed in the Katz Institute of Women's Health. So it makes me wonder 2 things. Number 1, is there a difference in happiness level between men and women? And number 2, does this imply that women are more willing to proactively deal with this issue because it's sitting in the Katz Institute?
Okay, so the question is, or the comment, I'm just going to repeat it, is that this is, you know, we're all women up here. This is from the Katz Institute, where you represent the Katz Institute for Women's Health. So what does that actually mean? Does it mean that women are more open to change? Does it mean that women are happier or need more happiness? Or
Well, so of course, Katz Institute for Women's Health, you know, part of the big mission is that actually a lot of times there's not a lot of research and less care that was devoted to looking at women's unique needs. So while the primary mission is to focus on women, we definitely don't discriminate, and we definitely care for men as well. And then in terms of, are women happier or men happier, I can't cite all the research for you, but I think probably we're all human, right? So we all have the capability to experience happiness, but probably men and women might at times look for happiness in different ways. That would be my general answer.
I just want to add to that even though we're all women here, if you looked at the movie, most of the stories were based on men's experience. Even the Toyota executive who died, I mean, it was his wife who was recounting the story of losing her husband and what his life was and how his difficulties were. I don't think it really matters. I think, of course, there's gender differences on all scopes of health between men and women, but I think on this point, like I said, it's not one size fits all, and it's like not one gender is all the same. I think everybody really needs to do some soul searching and look within and decide what makes them happy. A lot of times in healthcare these days, as we are moving more towards giving women equal attention in some of the health problems that we're noticing, what we're also learning is that a very large part of the population, the women, are the drivers of health for their whole family. They're the sandwich generation. They're taking care of their children, their elderly parents, their friends, their partners, and so, and they are a very captive audience. So maybe getting, what are we, 4 or 5 women on the stage today is because we all felt that it was a good cause and we made ourselves available.
you have a question? Yeah.
One of the panelists touched on it. What do you say to a person who has a terminal disease and survivalship and longevity are being discussed? The person is in pain. They're talking about months in a hospital. What do you say to them? Can you use the word happy? No. Maybe the reconciliation, but the word happy, can you?
Usually you ask people what's important to you. You ask them what's important to them. And then you go from there, and some people say, you know, I want to be happy. I'd be really happy if my dog was with me. You know, you ask them what they want. Some people are looking for joy. Some people are looking for peace. Some people are looking for community, and some people are looking to be free of pain. And other people say, no, don't give me the medication because I don't want to sleep. So it really starts with them and what they want, and it's the partnership that we have with them. Which it might sound a little trite, and I know when we talk about this on a broad level. It's very difficult for me to even say anything. But on an individual level, each person has pretty much wanted different things. Some people want to go home and be in their own home. Some people want to go to a hospice and be cared for. It's a tough situation, and you know, some people use the word to us, I'm so happy today. I had such a good sleep last night, I'm really happy. So it sounds like inconceivable, but yet look at the people on the film. Who would be happy in my world running, you know, pulling a rickshaw with those little flip-flops on in all kinds of weather? So again, it's a personal perception. What makes one person happy may not make someone else happy. But we start with what's important to them.
So I think what I'd like to do now, because I sense that people have questions, and I know that you guys are really accessible, and maybe we can continue this conversation outside, but before everybody kind of goes off into the rest of their day, we had talked about doing maybe a brief meditation on gratitude. So I'm just going to pass that along to you, and then after that, we're going to go to the lobby, and if you have other questions, you want to make a mandala, you want to talk to any of us about any of the things that you're thinking about right now, we can continue that.
So this is a loving kindness metta meditation. So it's actually a call and response. And so it's an affirmation, is a positive phrase, and it's something that you can find. It's called loving kindness meditation. It's a call and response. And the phrase is, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be free from suffering. And then we do that 2 more times using we and us. So consciously, we're affirming our happiness, our health, and being free from suffering. So it'll be a call and response. If you can close your eyes, uncross your legs, placing your hands gently on your lap, and allow us to take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in. Exhale away. Allow your body to settle into this moment, relaxing your shoulders and your face. Bring some attention to your face and allow a smile to gently graze over. Take another deep breath in and exhale. Now feel connected to your heart center, the center part of your chest. This is the place of love and compassion, the place that we feel love, that we send love and kindness. And from this place, we will begin the loving kindness metta meditation. May I be happy. Repeat after me. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from suffering. Now go ahead and think of a person in your mind. May you be happy.
May you be happy.
May you be healthy.
May you be healthy.
May you be free from suffering.
May you be free from suffering.
And now we bring together full consciousness. This can be the whole world, the country, your community, your family, the state. May we be happy.
May we be happy.
May we be healthy.
May we be healthy.
May we be free from suffering.
May we be free from suffering.
And just take a moment, send out love, peace, and light from your heart outward. And take another deep breath in and exhale away. And gently feel free to come back to the room and open your eyes. Thank you, guys.
all for coming to share this morning with us, and we hope you'll continue talking to us and talking to your friends and neighbors that you've just met in the lobby. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.